the headline is quoting him saying, UPND has fixed nothing in 3 years. It's shameful, and gone on to list some of the things that he did better. He's proud of his legacy as former president, that he did better than the UPND are doing 3 years. Let me start off with that, just a comparison, because this is what the debate is about. The former president is proud, although people are saying that still he found Milimo at 35 kwacha, but things also were not good in his time. And then the current president also is saying that also they're doing okay. So just a comparison from you. That's what I want to get for starters.
Wonderful. First of all, I'm so happy that you mentioned that one day you woke up very excited to go and vote. And I believe the vote you went to do was for change. And in your mind, just like many other citizens, they went to vote for a change for better. But today, they are so disappointed. If we are to do a comparison between Mr. Hakainde Hichilema and former President Edgar Lungu, you see, it's very embarrassing to the UPND. When you are succeeding a great man, you have to be greater for people to appreciate you. Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is putting on a very oversized boot that is even failing to lift. Yes, it's very true for the former president to brag that he did far much better than UPND, who've totally done nothing in terms of positive achievements. Instead, they've taken Zambia backwards, I think 10 years backwards, which is very disappointing in all sectors. And we are not saying this because we are in the opposition. Many Zambians have seen for themselves. And we are so happy that 3 years down the line, Zambians decided to test the UPND. It's not even about PF to explain the failures of UPND, because it's visible to every citizen in all sectors. Even when they try to brag about, CDF, no, we are doing this, the rule of law, what, again, they are entangling themselves in confusions. And Zambians now are like, where are we going? What is happening? Abantu balechula. This is not what they expected. And this is the more reason why UPND and President Hichilema is more scared of having Lungu back in politics. And they are doing whatever they could to try and crush the opposition, especially whenever they hear the word PF and Lungu. That actually sends shiver in their camp.
Now, you're saying that they're entangling themselves in confusion when they talk about brags or used about some of the achievements that they're talking about. How are they?
Some of their alleged achievements.
Alleged.
Yes.
So why are you saying they're entangling themselves in confusion?
For instance, they'll talk about CDF. I'll give you. In 2022, CDF was increased from 1.6 million kwacha to 25 million kwacha. You are a journalist, you can check for yourself. The records are there. That the constituency that received the highest amount out of the 25 million only got less than 5 million. The 20 millions were never declared in the second year of their CDF budget. Records are there. Today they are talking about having CDF close to 30 million. If you go down and check the records, the constituencies that have received the highest amount could be 6 million out of 30 million. And they've employed now the so-called eye openers, the press singers, to defend things that they don't even understand. If CDF was truly there and working for the people, you and I could have seen. We are members of constituencies. We live in these communities. We live in wards. We could have been the people now to testify and say, when CDF na iwomba, pofo iwombera, pana ishitaso. But go down on the street and see how people are wallowing in poverty. And this is why Zambians are regretting to say, no, the decision we made was a wrong decision. This is not the change that they wanted. Change is inevitable. Change is very inevitable. But it should not be changed to the negative. People wanted progress. But look at where we are. In every sector, I want to be general. I want to be general. In every sector that you look at, as we speak right now, probably you are operating on genset. There's no power. And the silly excuse that will come from leaders is that, no, we have no power, we have no enough water in the Kariba. Where are they getting the water to generate power which is being exported? Because the Minister of Energy confirmed, saying, yes, we are exporting power. ZESCO management confirmed that we are exporting power, because ZESCO cannot survive without selling power. They need to realize money to run the utility company. Where are they getting the water to generate power that is being exported, which they cannot generate power to feed their own people? They removed the subsidies. What are they doing with all those subsidies? How much investment have they put in the energy sector?
Now, let me just on that same point of electricity. I mean, even under the PF, under your party, we did have load shedding as well.
Okay, let me explain to you. We did have load shedding when ZESCO was operating at a very minimal generation capacity. When PF came into power, we found Zambia was having 1,600 megawatts of power, and we were experiencing. So when we came, we had an agenda, we had a plan, and PF invested into the energy sector from 1,600 megawatts. In 10 years, we started operating at 3,750 megawatts. That's where we are right now. UPND, 3 years in power. How much investment have they done? Because the power that we have, the 3,750 megawatts, is able to sustain every household. The 20 million population, all of them in the villages, wherever they are, the 20 million people of this country would not go without power. We are supposed to be having power 24/7 with the 3,700 megawatts.
So you're saying that they've prioritized more selling than
they value other people more than Zambians.
Now the debate around that is that they are trying to bring in forex into the country, which also the country does not have enough of.
How much forex have they brought in the country from the time they started exporting power? We could have seen the improvement in terms of the economy. An ordinary citizen down there in Kanyama would have seen the effect of that foreign earning that is coming from the sale of electricity.
So from what you're saying, why do you think they're doing it?
It's all politics. It's all politics, and it's all about, putting money in their pockets. Because if we, the owners of power, cannot benefit from the power that is being sold, then somebody who is selling that power is benefiting. That's why you hear that they will come up with different, statements. The permanent secretary is saying this, the director ZESCO is saying this, the minister of energy is also saying this. So they are we are pera statement, we are pera. When you are telling the truth, you cannot make too many different statements. You just have to say one, and you don't need a lot of people to explain. Like Professor Lumumba would say that if you've done something and you spend 10 hours explaining what you've done, then you've done nothing. And this is what we are seeing from the UPND.
Right.
Truly speaking, it's a disaster.
Let's talk a little bit about the cost of living. Of course, those examples that were cited about a lot of prices of commodities. Now, of course, the example that was given was that the PF found a bag of meal at what was that, 35 or 50 kwacha, and left at what, 150 kwacha thereabout. So we are seeing that there was still a consistent rise in the cost of living based on that, which when the UPND came into office, it continued going upwards.
Okay, let me give you history about the cost of living from UNIP. When MMD was taking over the affairs of this nation in 1991, probably some of you might have been young then, the cost of a 25 bag of meal was at 2 kwacha 15. Okay? And MMD left it at 35 kwacha. You get it? That was in the 20 years, which is normal in the global world that we are living in, because we don't produce most of the things. We are a consumptive, society. So PF found a bag of meal at 35 kwacha. So in 10 years, they left it at 120. So if you count, we are counting 10 years. So UPND found a bag of meal, a 25 bag of meal at 120 kwacha. In 6 months' time, it went up to 300. So whoever was making those, comparisons was not telling the truth. Was not telling the truth. They need to tell the truth. The cost of living in this country went up immediately when UPND came into power, because they stayed in opposition for 20 years. Their sponsors gave them conditions, and those conditions were effected immediately when HH took power. You and I witnessed, like many citizens witnessed, the removal of subsidies. And you have the IMF that has come to suck blood from you, telling you to say, no, you can't be telling people to say IMF has never developed any country. Show me a country that has been developed by IMF or World Bank in Africa. When they removed the subsidies from energy sector, the energy cost went up. Fuel, which they found at 17 kwacha, is now costing over 35 kwacha in less than 3 years.
No,
in less than 3 years.
On the point you raised about the IMF, the PF was also trying to get a bailout package from the IMF, which is why the UPND celebrated so much when they got it, because they felt like the PF failed to do it and the UPND have done it.
We went and sat with the IMF and we looked at the conditions. And in our wisdom as a party that cares for the people, we looked at the conditions, that these conditions are favoring the IMF than our own people, because they cannot come from Europe and tell us to say remove subsidies, yet all the countries in Europe, including the United States of America, is giving subsidies to their own people. So they remove subsidies from us. People must understand, what is this subsidy? Subsidy is a people's money that is being given to them to cushion the economical shocks that people experience. For instance, if Kandolo is costing at 2 kwacha, a 5 kwacha, the government will actually put 3 kwacha and make people buy Kandolo at 2 kwacha. That is taxpayers' money. It's our money. We are not being given for free. Government has no money. The monies that they preside over is people's money. So there were several conditions, including conditions shani fionsefio. So when the leadership of the PF and government at that time, under the able leadership of Edgar Chagwalum, refused to say no, I think we cannot qualify, because we can't sacrifice our own people, we can't sacrifice our own morals as a country. We have a moral backbone that we are proud in. We cannot let these other things that you are bringing in to come and override us. I think we are better.